Buckle up, because it's going to be a long ride. It's going to be a wild ride. Nobody cares, but we're going to tell you anyways. This is Popcorn Chats. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Popcorn Chats. I'm Katie.
And I'm MICHAE.
And we are back with the continuation of our Euphoria Season 2 coverage. We are coming off of watching Season 2, Episode 2 of Euphoria. And we're going to be breaking it down for you, just like we did last week. If you didn't hear our episode last week about the first episode of Season 2, go back and listen to that one before you listen to this. Obviously, spoilers ahead if you haven't watched the show.
That's on you.
Also, content, trigger warning. Obviously, you should know that Euphoria is not a show for children. So if you're young, maybe don't listen to this episode and don't watch Euphoria, yada yada.
I got my YouTube analytics back recently, and I had like 1% of people 17 and under, and I was like, literally not for you.
Yeah,
Just not for
but
you.
that's good that it's less than 1%.
Yeah.
I know our demographic is 18 plus, so not too worried about it, but obviously if you know Euphoria, you know there's some sensitive content.
And we're not here to police that for you. You do that yourself.
Before we get in, do we check in?
Same old, same fucking old. I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, kind of same for me. We had a Sunday fun day yesterday. It was quite lovely. A lovely day. We went to brunch and a movie, and then we waited for Euphoria to come out, and it was nice doing that. I'm poor, I'm anxious and unstable, but
Poor, anxious, and unstable should be your t-shirt.
I could
There's like 3 bold. Poor, anxious, unstable.
I could, you know, those shirts or those like, what are those things called where it's like all the words? Whatever, fuck it. I don't want to go into that. But I could have a shirt with a lot of fucking words on it that was like turbulent, financially unstable, mentally unstable, a burden to her parents, a national security threat.
Okay. Sure.
Anyways, no. Let's get into this episode. So,
Pull up my notes.
girlies, we hope you're all well. Check-in is kind of botched, and it's fine because we're gonna get into this episode.
That's my notes.
Michaela!
Guys, for those on YouTube watching, these are my notes.
It's literally blank.
It says Euphoria Season 2 in a colon, and then I have nothing written.
All right, well,
That's trash. But you know what? The episode was trash, and I'll start out saying that. I did not like this episode whatsoever. I don't know if it was my viewing experience because I was unwell.
inebriated.
Yeah, or if it was just the episode overall, but even looking back, like thinking back to it, I did not like the episode.
Yeah, it's definitely my least favorite of Euphoria so far. Upon reflection, I feel that I like the plot advancements that were made and the character stuff that we got to see, but I did not like the delivery of it. Like, stylistically, this did not feel like a Euphoria episode, and I think when you have a show like Euphoria, so many shows kind of come into their own and settle into the show that everybody knows and loves. And it takes a couple seasons to get to that point where it's like really established its aesthetic and characters. But with a show like Euphoria, the first season came right out the gate with this really strong aesthetic, really strong storytelling style and format, and really strong flawed characters, and people really latched onto those things after the first season, and that's what I think made this show so popular. So when you deviate from that a little bit, I mean, you as a creator, you're like kind of walking a fine line because you want to mix it up, you don't want to be boring, but you can't, if you deviate too much from what people originally fell in love with, you're gonna have an issue on your hands, I think.
Well, the first episode was different, but also the same.
Agreed.
Where this was different, but bad different.
Agreed. This was not about any specific character, so our prediction of, is this season going to follow new characters for each episode like the first season did? No, this did not follow any particular person. It kind of jumped around quite a bit.
Yeah, but it looks like next week we're going to jump back into that formula with Cal having his own episode, which I don't know, we did not include him when we had kind of thought of who might all get an episode.
No, you did.
Did I?
Yeah, you said Cal.
Go me.
I'm proud of you.
I mean, I'm not necessarily mad at that this one didn't follow a specific character
Same.
because I do think that we needed to get kind of rolling with people's storylines this time around, and there was a lot going on with each of our characters, so we kind of needed like a mini check-in with all of them.
Yeah.
But it was the check-ins then that were like, what the like, especially Kat's.
Yeah.
Kat's was bad, and I love Kat, and I'm like, please don't fuck up her storyline. I think it's interesting. Like, I like her storyline and her thing with Ethan of her feeling like something's wrong with her, that she doesn't love him the way that she's supposed to because she thinks like this is all that I've wanted. And then now she finally has that. Kind of like how Sam Levinson said with Rue, like, we're going to give her everything that she wants and see how she reacts. And Kat kind of is that way. Like, she has the love of a man and like a partner, but yet she's not happy and she doesn't love herself. And like, that's coming back to haunt her. So I think that that's interesting. I want to see where that goes. But the way that they did it in this episode was weird. Like, why was Ethan spurting blood in the bathroom floor?
Right.
For like a Dothraki soldier to come in. Like, I get that we had that one thing in Kat's episode in season 1 where the like fandom that she has online like came to life. But this didn't feel like that. Like, it didn't feel kind of camp. It felt
it was
embarrassing.
It was like very heavy-handed, and that I appreciate the idea of like everyone now is proclaiming self-love, love yourself, and it's like, okay, I can't, like, I fucking hate myself, and you saying love yourself isn't helping. So kindly shut the fuck up. And like, everybody is doing that, but then at the same time like shoving conventional beauty standards down our throats. So I appreciated what they were trying to achieve. I just don't think the way they went about it was good. Same with, I don't know, I feel like Kat's thing is the most internal, whereas Rue is kind of like narrating everybody else's. So I find that interesting as well. Moments I did appreciate was Jules and Maddie's conversation outside the bowling alley. Like, that felt like the Euphoria that I know and love. And I appreciated seeing two characters who don't always interact with each other interacting. And especially those two who have Nate commonalities
where otherwise don't have a lot in common.
Right. Jules still has affection for Maddie and says, I wish you saw yourself the way that the world sees you. And so this theme of self-love kind of like going throughout the episode is interesting. Other things I really liked, I loved when Nate confronted Cal. That was very off the cuff right at the end of the episode. It just all got laid out there, and I loved that moment when he was like, remember that classmate of mine that you fucked? Incredible.
Call him out. I'll read.
Moment.
Before we jump into that, something with Maddie and Jules quick to comment on that we don't need to circle back to then. The tape, though, if that was what the tape is that Maddie saw, I'm shocked that she hasn't said anything to Jules yet.
Right.
Or like given an inkling that she knows something. Like said something kind of vague to Jules. So that makes me wonder, like, is that not on the tape? Because you're acting real cool with Jules for having seen that. And I think we're going to find that out next week, what's on the tape.
I hope so, yeah. Rue and Elliot's friendship, I think it's an interesting dynamic and not like too heavy-handed with drama that it's going to be like distracting from what we, again, already have established between Rue and Jules.
I like their friendship too, but I truly just don't care about him as a character. Like, I don't care about having any depth to him, truly. He might be a great character, and I might change my mind by the end of the season. But right now, like, I just don't care about him. I don't care to be invested in him, and I don't care to like him really, because I just want to be in with the characters that I already know. And obviously you need to have new characters introduced, so I'm not like mad that he is, but I just really don't care about seeing where he goes or anything more than just kind of being like a side support to Rue. Like, I don't really need anything more from him than that.
So, well, something I wanted to talk to you about. So we had kind of our predictions about how we thought that this love triangle / square was gonna go.
Yeah.
And now Cassie's character is kind of going down the path that I predicted that she would, and deviating from, I think, what we both would have preferred her do. In my opinion, though, I do feel like this is true to Cassie's character. This kind of common battle that all the women in high school are going through, which is they just want somebody to love them and they are unable to love themselves. And I think that Cassie is not an exception of that. What she's doing makes sense for her character. It's not fun to see. It's not fun to watch. I think she's going to get her teeth knocked out. She's going to get curb stomped.
And honestly, she kind of deserves it. Like, if you did this once with Nate while you were hammered at this party and like everyone knows that you were super drunk, That's kind of like, okay, shitty, but I feel like if Maddie were to find that out, like, you could maybe move past this. But now that you're, like, sneaking around with Nate and, like, she's trying to call you both while you're with each other, and even though, yes, Nate and Maddie are broken up, so, like, is it technically wrong? No, but, like, it's girl code. That's your best friend. You don't do that to your best friend knowing that Maddie and Nate are always going to come back to each other. Like, I really hate that for Cassie's character. And I hate that Nate's trying to be like, Cassie could be everything I want. Like, the thought of the two of them together, I fucking hate it. And if that's going to turn into a big storyline, which I know it is, of the two of them trying to be boyfriend and girlfriend, I just literally don't want it. I think it's going to be so trash because you know they're never going to be happy together. It's never going to work out. So it just feels like filler. I was really hoping that Nate was going to, like, hold that over Cassie's head and be like a huge dick and kind of get back together with Maddie and then kind of taunt Cassie with it. Not Nate picturing her being pregnant and having kids with her and loving her. And I can't get on board with that fantasy because I don't fucking like him. Right. Like, I mean, I love him, but I hate him. So it's like, I'm not going to get on board with you having a fantasy of you being this nice guy with Cassie.
I have a lot of thoughts. I think obviously Nate is fucked up and he's texting Maddie these sweet things and then Maddie's calling Cassie and being like, Nate just texted me the cutest thing. Yeah. So he's actively trying to get back together with Maddie while, like, falling in love with Cassie and then, like, telling Cassie we can't be together, these reasons XYZ, and then going to fuck her in the fucking construction site. So that's all fucked up. However, it's interesting and I don't think this was, like, elaborated on enough and this could be completely off base, but as a queer person who has tried to be straight before, I think that it makes sense that Nate kind of being excited about this thing with Cassie, it makes sense that he's clinging to that because he doesn't want to be gay and he doesn't want to confront his sexuality and he views that giving into, like, homosexual impulses as, like, being weak, like what his dad is doing and, like, putting their family at risk, and he thinks that he can kind of, like, overcome that in his life and kind of live the perfect life that his dad is, like, pretending to live, if that makes sense. And Cassie is giving him, like, new hope about that, I think.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I hate the idea of them being together, that could last, like, this whole season of them trying to, like, be an actual couple when you just know that they're not gonna live happily ever after at the end of the show. And also, where's McKay? Like, where's he at? He wasn't in this episode at all. Yeah. And I want to see his reaction to this as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping that because it's building up like this, I hope that there is some huge explosion of some kind. I am looking forward to that. I like the tension that's building up within this situation.
I'm more interested to see how the fallout affects Cassie and Maddie's relationship more than, like, really any other dynamic of that. Like, I don't really care as much about Nate and McKay or Nate and Maddie or McKay and Cassie. I care mostly about Maddie and Cassie. Yeah. And seeing how they come out of it.
Agreed. I really like the female friendships.
Me too.
Within this.
You're my soulmate.
Hey, bitch, you're my soulmate. I don't mean to circle back to Kat, but I do think it's also, like, true to her character to be, like, you know, Sam Levinson in the after part of this was, like, this episode shows the characters are thinking one thing and feeling one thing and then acting kind of, like, opposite of those feelings. Like, Nate is falling in love with Cassie, but then he's saying, no, we can't be together. And Kat is acting like she has this perfect relationship that all the other girls are desiring. But then in her mind, she's like, this guy's boring the fuck out of me. And that's relatable, I think, because when you're in high school, you just want, again, to be loved. And when you have something that is, like, desirable, looking desirable on the outside, when you aren't feeling, like, happy and fulfilled on the inside, then it's kind of like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And so, again, like, that idea and that development in Kat's character, love it. Delivery, fucking botched.
Yeah. Fucking botched. Even the music wasn't good in this one. Yeah. Everything. I'm sounding negative on this episode, and you know what? It's because I am. I didn't like it.
Yeah, just, we need to reel it in here. We need to get it back on track.
Yeah, because this was a big deviation. The premiere of this season, 10 out of 10. Yeah. Great. Set up so many great things. And Katie and I last week were like, this show isn't going to get messed up. And then after this week, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I'm feeling unsteady, wobbly woobly.
I am. Sam Levinson, you are the constant right now in my life. And for you to mess with that, it's not okay.
Yeah, you got a lot on your shoulders, man.
Come on. I think all of the potential of me, like, hoping things for the storylines and things last week kind of got shuffled this week. And mainly the McKay, Cassie, Maddie, Nate situation. And that's going a complete 180 than how I thought it would. So I think too, and obviously that's I don't run the show, so I'm not saying like they need to run it how I'm imagining it, but I just don't like the direction that it's going in so far. So, and also, where was Rue and Jules throughout this episode? There was like very little of them. So when you're fucking with my two favorite characters, Rue and Kat, I'm not happy. And also I just feel like they felt like B characters in this, which is not how like Rue and Jules are. So I'll be interested to see if they have more of a spotlight in next week's episode. But I think next week's episode is going to be a lot with Nate, because it's going to be his dad. So I think a lot is going to revolve around him, which granted, like, Jules revolves around him quite a bit, and, like, he revolves around her quite a bit. So maybe we'd get more. This week they were, like, almost non-existent together. Rue was with Elliot, Jules was with Maddie, but the two of them together, not much.
Another, like, small moment that I appreciated is when Rue looked at the camera and breaks the fourth wall. I like how she's very solidified as, like, the narrator of the show. I think Nate is really also solidifying himself as, like, the top villain and, like, the top manipulator, even over his dad, Cal, by saying, like, I have this over you. I know you're fruity, and I know that you film underage kids, and I know you fuck underage kids.
Whenever you say fruity. And he's a little fruity. Although, I'm like, Cal, are you about to pull a gun on a child? I mean, like, I wouldn't be surprised, because clearly you don't really have boundaries when it comes to children. But when I thought he was going to pull a gun on Fez in the gas station, there was so much tension in that whole interaction. Yeah. And I really liked that scene. Actually, I think that was probably my favorite scene out of the episode.
There was a lot of tension in that, and I really liked Lexi's look in that scene, and I loved her and Fez's cute little interaction.
And Faye.
Okay, here's the thing, though. I really don't appreciate the way that this is the second character now that Sam Levinson, I'm assuming it was his decision, to have them literally just see another woman in the vicinity of the man that they like, and then have them, like, freak out and completely deviate course. Because that happened to Kat with Ethan at the carnival.
Yes.
I mean, it's fine, but I
don't think Lexi's reaction was that extreme, though.
Yeah, but I felt like she was going there to, like, see Fez and, like, hang, and then she saw Faye, and then was like, well, now I'm not going to talk to him anymore. I don't know. I got bad vibes from it, and I don't think that you should be that threatened by just the presence of another woman. We aren't competition. We should be lifting each other up.
Well, not that I don't agree with that, but I think, like, if I hit it off with a guy at a party one night and we, like, got to talking and, like, we're vibing, and then the next day I go and, like, see him purposefully and he has another girl just, like, hanging out with him, I'm not immediately going to be like, oh my God, hi, how are you? Let's be friends. Like, I'm not going to immediately draw myself to her. Yeah. I'm immediately going to be like, oh, is something going on here? And, like, was I picking up on weird vibes between him and I the other night? So I'm going to kind of back off. Yeah. So, like, I don't think that that's a bad thing that she reacted like that. And I don't think it seemed out of character for Kat's in the first season to react like that, when Kat's, like, whole character is kind of, like, being insecure and like insecure with men, that then, like, again, her reaction, I feel like, didn't feel, and she wasn't, like, mad at the girl. Right. She was like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was.
I'm not saying that it's out of character, because I think, again, these women are in high school and this is kind of like their first experience with romantic feelings and whatnot. But I don't know, it just kind of, like, in the moment rubbed me the wrong way, but I definitely agree with what you're saying about it. And then, I'm glad that she kind of stuck around to kind of protect Fez, because she knew what was going on. And
it's like, is Cal gonna kill 3 kids? 4 with Ashtray there? Like, what's he really gonna do?
Right. Yeah. And another knock on Cassie for ratting out Fez. Like, girl.
Yeah, come on.
I love Sydney Sweeney, but I'm really not liking this character right now. And it's kind of like...
Yeah. I liked her in the first episode, but this whole episode, it was like, I'm kind of out on Cassie right now. Yeah. And I totally agree. Why did you rat Fez out? He was like, what's Cal gonna do? He's not gonna do anything to you. Yeah.
Don't, like, everybody's letting themselves be so intimidated by Nate and his dad, which I get, but also it's, like, frustrating.
But also, it's like, there are so many, that if they just all, like you said, if they just all got together and started talking about the things that they have on Cal and Nate, then it would be turned around that Cal and Nate would have to be fearing all of them. Because Maddie could go and come clean about the domestic abuse. Jules could come clean about the stalking and the fact that she fucked Nate's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Rue could back up all the blackmail.
Mm-hmm.
McKay could be like, he's a little fruity.
Yeah.
Like, everyone has something on them. Like, as much as they have on everyone else has stuff on them.
Tyler could be like, he literally beat the shit out of me and now I'm gonna die.
It's like a mutual destruction situation. Yeah,
they just have Nate and his dad have things on everybody, so they're too afraid to like talk to each other about it. But it's just kind of like, ugh.
All it takes is one little slip here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And you just all gotta start coming together.
You're so right about, like, did Maddie see Mr. Jacobs fucking Jules in that tape?
Mm-hmm.
And then why is she not like, whoa, that's a red flag and Nate fucking choked me? But it's because she loves Nate again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, at this point, she wants to get back together with him.
Yeah.
And she knows he's toxic. Like, she's telling Rue or Jules, I don't think that type of love that Kat supposedly has is meant for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, all you girlies just gotta love yourself and fight for what you deserve.
Which it's not any of these dudes. I mean, maybe Ethan is the only one worth fighting for because he just seems like a nice dude. But even if he's not it, then that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then go about your way. But the rest of these dudes aren't really it.
Another thing I appreciated, I liked that we got to see Lexi's reaction to Rue's overdose.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked the Lexi moments in this when she walked out of the classroom with her headphones on, being a bad bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I do really want a whole episode for Lexi, though.
Yes, and better wardrobe for Lexi.
Yep.
She had some botched outfits in this episode. Some botched looks.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Maddie's babysitting moment.
Yeah,
I did like that, and I liked that she was playing dress up in the closet because that's like a very Maddie thing to do, and also just like a teenager thing to do, snooping around and looking in people's closets. I don't know. I felt like,
it was very on point for her character too, because she just wants to live that type of lifestyle where she is a wife that just gets like pretty things whenever she wants it.
Yeah.
And so that moment then at the end when she was unzipping the back of the dress, it's like, was that her being like, I want to be you, or was that her being like, maybe I want to fuck you? I hope it's not that I want to fuck you, because it's
once
just
again, teenagers and adults. I was more just like, we're really not going to have this like couple try to come home and seduce the babysitter, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like, come on. Euphoria, you got to rein it in at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do like how we as an audience are kind of like, there really are no rules and no boundaries.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
I'm expecting anything. Just like in the first episode when we were like, is one of these high schoolers a fucking stripper?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I wouldn't put it past them, but also it's like, come on, don't turn into a Riverdale situation.
See, and I've never watched that.
It's just like out of control. And I've never watched it either, but it's just like, I watched people break it down, like how it started and then now where it's at.
What the fuck?
And it's just like,
that was a popular show.
Insane. Yeah, the first season, like, people really liked, and then it just gets to be kind of cray-cray.
Yikes. I'm curious, after this episode, what do you think the longevity of Euphoria looks like?
I don't know, because they're late into high school, and I would hope that it didn't, like, follow them into college. Because I don't necessarily feel like I need that. It's the type of thing that it takes a lot to make. Like, a lot goes into making it. It's kind of like Stranger Things, where it's just like people really love it, but it takes forever to pump out a season, and it might fall by the wayside. I hope that that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I just got thinking about this of if they're late into high school, like obviously they're not going to graduate at the end of this season, or else they would have been talking about like, oh, it's our last semester of school, you know? So if they even have one more year of high school, because I'm assuming then this started out on New Year's, so maybe it ends at the end of the school year, so it's maybe going to cover a 5-month period, and then maybe we do one more season out of it. But really then where do you go after that? Like, I don't foresee this being a show where, like you said, it follows them to college, or it being a show where they do a time jump and like 5 years later everyone's coming back to the town. I don't see it going past high school.
Yeah, and I hope it doesn't. I would like to say that I hope it lasts a long time, but I also don't want it to overstay its welcome, and I don't want to see it turn bad.
Yeah.
With like any show, that's how I feel. But another thing we didn't really touch on is Ali came back in this
Oh
episode.
my God,
and
yeah.
so much fucking happened in this episode. It's quite wild, and it feels very, like, all disorganized in my head. But what were your thoughts on him coming back?
I love Ali, so I was happy to have him back. And I do really love his relationship with Rue, and that he is, like, a mentor / father figure / also friend. Like, even though they are very vastly apart in age, that she really can talk to him as a friend, but also see him as a respected authority figure in her life. So I really love that dynamic. I love the bond that the two of them have, and I liked that he introduced himself to her mom to so that her mom just also too has that comfort of knowing that she does have a person kind of looking out for her that's not the mom, because like parents and teenagers, they can't like always see eye to eye on things, and it is nice that Rue has another adult figure in her life that she can go to for stuff when she doesn't want to go to her mom. And obviously she can't tell her mom that she's not clean, but she can tell Ali that and like have that open dialogue with him. So I like that, and I'm interested to see then if like the mom and Ali are gonna get any scenes together and kind of talking. But I feel like they're not gonna have him like bold face lying to her, because that's not his style. Kind of like how he evaded the question when the mom asked about like if she wasn't using again or something, right? Like I like that he evaded that instead of just lying to her.
Yeah, he's definitely like in a unique position in Rue's life where he's not like a bad influence on her like Elliot might be. Like they do drugs together, but he's not like an authoritative figure like her mom would be if, you know, when he finds out that she's using again, he's not like, you can't do that, and like, because that's a parental reaction, but he knows that that's not what she needs. And he's also able to tell when Rue is using and when she's not, because he's a former addict himself. Her riding up the fucking scooter on the stairs, amazing. Zendaya, like, she wasn't a huge focal point in this episode, but she really managed to just maintain that lovable character.
Even when she like messes up or anything, it's just like I still just love her. And not that she messed up in this episode at all, but... And
it'd be interesting to see if a relationship, either a friendship or something romantic, does start happening between Ali and Rue's mom. Then how is his position in her life going to change?
I feel like that would really betray Rue's trust of him.
Yeah.
If the mom and him got together.
It would definitely cause a lot of problems, I think, for sure.
Yeah. But also, like, what happened to the mom's boyfriend? Do you remember when he was sitting at that table and she was like, actually, I hate that you're sitting in my dad's chair. Fuck you.
Yeah. What is his name? Like Ted or something?
Yeah. What I meant to say is. Yeah, I forgot that Ali came back in. Yeah, like you said, a lot happened in this episode, but also I feel like it was just overshadowed by weird things.
A Dothraki.
That, and then how they're like having sex over Ethan and watching Ethan's dying body. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have high hopes for next week with it going back to being like a character episode. And also there are so many questions around Cal that I'm excited to see a whole episode on him.
I wouldn't mind if it kind of like zoomed in, zoomed out, and if we had a character focused episode and then all of them focused episode. That would make sense for this season because that would kind of do both of our, like, fulfill both of our wishes where we want to expand more on characters like Fez, Lexi, Cal, Gia, maybe. But
where's Gia?
Right.
Where's Gia? Someone find her and bring her to the show. I love Gia.
Yeah, me too.
And, like, I want so much more of her.
Yeah.
So... Chop chop.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be mad if we do character focus, zoom out, and then like check in with the other characters that we've already had zoomed in focuses on. Maybe that's going to be the way things go moving forward. Not sure. Yeah. We're not doing a very good job at predicting things over here. So we'll just kind of wait and see and be at the whim of Sam Levinson and the creators.
Also, I want some resolution between McKay and Cassie. Like, yes, they had a conversation at Nate's party, but I want to know, like, did they really talk about things after Cassie had her abortion? And I want to know, like, did she tell other people? Like, do people know, or is that a secret she's trying to keep? Like, I feel like we really don't have much resolution on Cassie's storyline from last season regarding her abortion moving forward.
Yeah, we also don't have a whole lot of resolution about Kat and, like, her whole camp girl situation. Yeah. Like, she's not doing that anymore. I think it was alluded to, like, in her kind of section of this episode. Like, we saw the mask on the bedpost. But yeah, and who was that creepy voice guy that, like, had her on the other line?
Yeah, like, I almost kind of wish that not that I wish that she was being blackmailed, but I kind of wish she was being blackmailed. And like, then she thought that maybe that was like, would be a threat to her and Ethan's relationship, of being like, if he finds this out about me, he might not like me.
And then you don't have this desirable relationship.
Yeah.
That everybody wants anymore. I mean, it's refreshing. I feel like there's so much potential with Kat's character because she, you know, had this like bad bitch era that kind of got her Ethan, and then she kind of admitted to those like weird model people that wasn't even real. I really love the potential and everything that's being set up within all these characters, but I just want to see it executed a little bit better.
Agreed.
And I'm hoping that this episode was kind of just like the bouncing off point, because it's not like all is lost. Like, this episode didn't completely ruin everything, but I could see it going like really good from here, or they just like regress and make things weird. So yeah, I'm nervous.
Agreed.
I'm nervous after this.
I'm nervous too.
But also quite excited for next week, obviously.
Same. Always going to be excited for it, but now just a little more nervous. And even once the episode was done, Katie and I were both like, we waited around all day for this.
Yeah, we watched fucking Ice Princess.
Botched.
We saw the new Scream movie too. Well, I did. Michaela slept.
I didn't even sleep. I literally couldn't open my eyes. I was tripping so hard.
Yeah, it was decent. I don't know.
My wrist literally hurts today because I laid like this in the theater for like an hour.
Dude, I don't know why, but like what is this called? Your forearm?
Yeah.
That is really sore today.
Weird.
I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Millions of bruises on my legs. It's like not even funny.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
You didn't fall down or anything.
I know. I don't know what's going on.
Did you get in a fight with a demon in your sleep?
No, that's my old life.
Okay.
We solved that issue when I started eating more protein. I don't astro travel anymore. Let's wrap it up. Do you have anything else to say?
Literally no.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next week. Hope and pray that they rein it in with this season. Season 2, episode 3. Let's hope for something a little bit better. We love you, girlies. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch our live reactions and watch this episode on YouTube. Go back and re-listen to it. Watch it on YouTube so that we get monetized, because we're super close. Thank you.
Up.
Thank you. Stay well, stay safe, and LYLAS.
LYLAS.
And fuck your mother!
Oh, wow.